So it's officially been a year since YouTube's age verification update, arguably their worst update of all time and arguably the most impactful. So what was happening a year ago and is still happening actively right now is YouTube started using their AI systems to go ahead and snoop around your channel, watch what you're looking at, watch what channels you're subscribed to, what types of videos you're watching, and determine whether you are under or over 18. If they determine that you are over 18, you're all good. You don't have to change anything or do anything differently. But if they determine that you are under 18, then all of a sudden YouTube is now going to be removing advanced features from your channel. So today we're going to talk about what the impact was over a year and how detrimental it has been to YouTube. So first of all, what are advanced features? Well, if you go over to your YouTube studio, click settings, go over to the channel on the left and go to feature eligibility, then you are actually going to be seeing what features you have enabled on your channel. So standard features, anybody can get it if they make a channel, as long as your channel is just free of active community guideline strikes. So things like creating a playlist, uploading videos, simple things like that. Next one is intermediate features. So for this one, you have to verify a phone number. YouTube does this to try to combat spam. I know a lot of people don't want to give YouTube their phone number, so you can just use like a burner app, that gives you a second phone number. But this is how you're able to make custom thumbnails, live streaming, and videos longer than 15 minutes. If you're planning to take YouTube seriously, then you kind of have to have intermediate features. If you're trying to make videos without custom thumbnails, it's going to be tough for you to grow. And then lastly, the most important one, advanced features. So this is the one where if you don't have what YouTube considers to be valid channel history, then you are going to have to provide an ID or a video verification to get access to all these features. And it is a lot. So creating more live streams daily, shorts daily, A/B testing of titles and videos, uploading more videos daily, and the important one, being eligible to apply for monetization. So if you want to make money on YouTube, you do have to either A, have valid channel history, or B, provide them some sort of biometric data that they are going to be harvesting, unfortunately. So YouTube's AI systems is going to be looking at everything that you do. And if you do not have valid channel history, then you're going to have to hand over either a valid ID, so like a passport or driver's license, or a video verification, so them doing an AI facial scan on your face and your facial geometry and all that. And they both claim that after 2 months of valid channel history, they will delete the ID or the video verification. Now, keep in mind, we just have to take their word for it. There's obviously no way of knowing whether they'll actually delete it or not. And there have been other apps that have done something similar to this, like Discord or wherever, where they say, oh, don't worry, guys, we'll go ahead and delete it. And then all of a sudden, huge data breach and all of your information is out there, right? So obviously, a lot of people are very hesitant on doing the biometric data scans. But the problem is, if you plan to take YouTube seriously and you really want to make it on YouTube, you are essentially going to have to get advanced features, because there is a lot of important stuff here that you're not going to be able to get without advanced features. So for example, like I said, applying for monetization, that's the big one. Content ID appeals, adding clickable links to long form video descriptions and posts. So it's just even like a bunch of random stuff as well. So essentially you kind of have to have advanced features, right? So obviously YouTube got a ton of backlash for this. It's been a year now and the community still regards this as one of, if not the worst YouTube update of all time. The only other one that comes close is YouTube removing dislikes, but I would argue this one is worse because they're actually harvesting your biometric data. So YouTube got a ton of backlash for this, right? And YouTube actually made some responses to this, especially, during the peak of the backlash a year ago. And man, the responses were really bad. So obviously a bunch of people were making their feelings known on YouTube and especially Twitter, and Team YouTube was replying to people. So this was them replying to someone saying, as you mentioned in your reply, this won't be required for all users. We've always had the option for age verification via ID or credit card. If someone is incorrectly estimated to be under 18, this update is about using better technology to make these estimations. That is laughable. So first of all, right, the credit card thing. Now I have heard and I have read that a credit card is actually a valid way to go ahead and prove that you are over 18 to YouTube, because in the United States, at least, I believe you have to be 18 or over to get a credit card. What's weird is at least in their feature eligibility section, maybe it's listed in other places, a credit card is actually not listed as an option on how you can verify your age. It says valid ID over here, so like passport or driver's license, or a video verification, obviously a facial scan where the AI harvests your data and trains their models off of your data or whatever. Now, a credit card is not a valid ID. It does not contain a birth date or a picture of your face, so it wouldn't count as a valid ID. And obviously, a credit card is not a video verification, right? So it's actually not one of the options that are listed over here. So it's almost like YouTube is prodding you and nudging you to do the video verification or valid ID instead, while trying to essentially hide that the credit card is actually an option for it as well. Another thing, right? They say they're trying to use better technology to make these estimations. Well, even a year later, this aged like milk, right? But for example, in this video, I used an example of a YouTuber who actually got permanently banned from YouTube for, it was like 4 months until she finally got her channel back, for knocking over a microphone in one of her videos. YouTube claimed that she violated the child safety safety policy. She was endangering children in her video. There wasn't even any visuals being shown in that part of the video. It was just her knocking over her microphone during the recording, right? So this is the same AI technology that is going to be looking at your channel and making sure that you're over or under 18. So not a very comforting feeling. And as you can see, an entire calendar year later, it doesn't seem like YouTube's AI moderation has gotten any better. Obviously, our last video was us talking about YouTube falsely marking a adult animation as made for kids. They're going ahead and demonetizing animation channels, animated storytime channels, ASMR channels. Tons of channels right now are getting falsely demonetized, banned, or flagged by YouTube. And obviously that is all done through their AI moderation. So obviously people didn't want to hand over their IDs. So people started figuring out or trying to find out how to circumvent ID verification, right? So I made a video, which actually became my most viewed video ever. Really thank you guys for the support there. I was going to talk about how to circumvent it. Right now in the video, I never wanted to recommend people doing anything illegal. So for example, people were going ahead and using like random photos to circumvent YouTube's ID verification. Some people were even using video games like Death Stranding or whatever. I don't know if that's legal or not, so that was something that I never really wanted to recommend. So I kind of made a comprehensive video talking about how you can avoid ID verification, which is still valid to this day. So if you want to watch the full video, just look it up on my channel. But essentially some of the tips that I was saying is basically, first of all, what you want to do is go ahead and watch videos that are not marked as made for kids. So the way you can tell if a video is not made for kids is it will actually have a comment section. You can add it to a playlist, things like that. If you watch those types of videos, YouTube is much more likely to mark you as over 18 as opposed to under 18. Now, if you watch Coco Melon or whatever, or any other videos that are marked as made for kids, which you can tell because it'll have a label here that says try YouTube Kids and you can't save it to a playlist, then YouTube is obviously much more likely to consider you as under 18. So I was recommending not watching those videos, at least not for the time being. And obviously, if you're over 18, you also have the option to go ahead and watch age-restricted videos as well. That is definitely a surefire way for YouTube to know that you are over 18 because obviously, nowadays at least, you have to actually provide proof that you are over 18 to go ahead and watch age-restricted videos. So when all the backlash was happening with this, YouTube just did the thing that they always do, where they double down on a bad decision. People were saying, and people were trying to actually defend YouTube here, saying, oh no, YouTube is being forced to do ID age verification. The governments are going in and pushing ID age verification all across the countries in the world right now. Now, the second part of that statement is true. Obviously, we've made a lot of videos talking about ID age verification. It is spreading across the world like an actual pandemic. It is a plague, right? They are trying to take away our online privacy and freedom before our very eyes. But I disagree with that first part. YouTube has not been forced to do this, and I'll explain why. First of all, YouTube went ahead and rolled this out primarily in the United States, and it was national, right? So across the entire country, if YouTube marks you as under 18 with their AI, you have to provide an ID or a facial scan to get advanced features. To this day, even a year later, YouTube has not been mandated to do that. Now, they have been mandated to do that in certain states and countries, that is true, but not the entire United States. So they went ahead and jumped the gun on that one and are going ahead and willingly harvesting everyone's biometric data. Another issue that I have with YouTube specifically for doing that is that they just gave in immediately, right? They didn't try to fight this at all. Websites like 4chan and Kiwi Farms, the latter of which I think is actually a trash website where people just get doxxed or whatever, they are going ahead and fighting back against ID verification in court. Certain countries are mandating them to, have ID age verification on their websites, and they literally took the country's governments to court and they're like, no, we're not doing that. We don't believe we should be mandated to do that. 4chan and Kiwi Farms don't even have probably like a 1% of YouTube's net worth, and they are still going ahead and fighting these laws in court. YouTube's parent company is Google, which is parent company is Alphabet, whatever. They have literally trillions of dollars in net worth. If they wanted to, they could have easily fought ID age verification, but they didn't want to. YouTube themselves wanted to go ahead and harvest your biometric data. That's why they caved into the government so quickly. I actually believe, and remember, Google is notorious for data tracking as well. I actually believe that they were happy when this whole ID age verification stuff started, and that is why they were going ahead and pushing it out to the entire country without even being mandated to do so. Now, in terms of the actual aftermath, right? Now, even over a year later, people are still getting marked as under 18 through YouTube's ID age verification AI systems, right? A lot of the people that are getting marked as under 18 actually have YouTube channels that are older than 18. Some of those people made their YouTube channels in 2007, 2008 or whatever, and YouTube still marks them as under 18. And there's only one way to go ahead and fix that is to go ahead and validate your age with some of your sensitive information. So yeah, it's really a bad issue that has happened on YouTube. Obviously, the dislike update was really bad. I really wish YouTube would bring back dislikes, but this was honestly the worst update that YouTube has ever made. ID age verification is a plague, and YouTube did not have to go ahead and implemented across the entire website. They could have fought this in court. As somebody who has been looking into ID age verification for more than a year now, it is something that they could have fought against. They could have been like, nah, you know what? YouTube users should not have to provide an ID. They could have fought this in court, and everybody would have given YouTube props for doing it. We would have all been like, damn, YouTube, you're actually fighting for our data privacy and freedom. I would be the first one to be glazing YouTube for doing that. But no, they immediately caved, and now this is the world that we live in today. YouTube and pretty much every other website and company wants your ID verification information. But yeah, that is YouTube age verification a year later. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the situation in the comments. Do you guys think this is the worst YouTube update of all time? Please leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more. See ya.